It was January 13th, 2024, and I decided to check on the tracking for the Bandera 100K. And the runners had just come through one loop at the 50K mark. And there was this guy just absolutely sending it. What looked like on paper, reckless abandon, running with no one. And the first thing that I did was text Jeremy.
I get a text from Emory. All it has was a screenshot of the live tracking results. The first runner had come through the halfway point, which is the 50K mark. The kid's 23 years old, nobody's heard of him, and he had come through in 3 hours and 46 minutes, which is on pace to beat Jim Walmsley's course record, the greatest American ultra runner of all time, by 15 minutes.
Come to find out, this is his first 100K, and all I'm thinking is, he's just gonna blow up.
Nice work, nice work!
We kind of followed the race. We're just waiting for this kid to completely blow up because nobody can sustain a pace like that. Lo and behold, consistent, hour by hour.
And then he kept going, and he kept going.
And the guy finishes in 7 hours, 45 minutes. Breaks Jim Walmsley's course record, which a lot of people said was unbeatable. Nobody had even broken 8 hours previous to Jim Walmsley. So instantly, I'm like, who is this guy? I go to Strava, because that's what runners do, and I look at his latest run. It was him doing a shakeout run on the Bandera course. The title of the Strava post was, "Get Wrecked Jim." You gotta understand, you don't talk to the GOAT like that. You don't speak to Mr. Walmsley like that. So it's like, what kind of arrogant kid coming from Noonan, Georgia, no one's ever even heard of this place, talks to the greatest ultra runner of all time like that? I thought Bandera was impressive. What this kid went on to do a few weeks later at Black Canyon, I wasn't prepared for. What he did at Black Canyon was even more impressive than breaking Jim Walmsley's course record out of nowhere a month before.
3, 2, 1, let's
go! He goes out with Hayden Hawks, trades the lead, and Hayden Hawks, one of the greatest runners of our generation, doesn't even know his name. He blew up around mile 40. His kidneys start shutting down, goes into organ failure, and for 20 miles, the kid fought tooth and nail, gave everything he had, and finished the race in 10th place. And then manages to spend 12 days in the hospital because he gave every ounce of his being to finish that race. Hans finished strong with 20 miles of pure suffering from Rabdo. For me, honestly, that was the moment where I realized this kid is special. This kid is built different. He has something that most people don't have. It was in that moment I knew I gotta find out who this kid is.
So naturally I find Hans' YouTube channel, and it's this kid, and he's kind of goofy, and I start thinking, how is this kid showing up to these caliber of races and absolutely destroying course records that were held by some of the greatest in the sport? And I start thinking, how is he maintaining a certain lifestyle behind this? What is his plan in the sport? Is he really wanting to be the greatest of all time, or is this just some fun game for him for some reason?
I dig into everything I could find on Hans. He has a YouTube channel, so I watch all of his YouTube videos. Instagram, college statistics, anything and everything on this Hans Troyer from Noonan, Georgia, and I quickly find out the kid lives in a camper in the middle of the woods, in the middle of Noonan, nowhere, Georgia. Eats Cheez-Its, Chips Ahoy, and expired bread. And seemingly trains all day, eats junk food, and just lives to run. So the more I dug, honestly, the more questions I had. I just wanted to know, who is this kid?
He really believes that he was born to run. He was born with a condition called tracheoesophageal atresia with fistula. So he had life-saving surgery when he was 1 day old. From there on, he was a fighter. In fact, the hospital, they gave him the nickname in the ICU as Hans the Destroyer Troyer. He would run to everything. It didn't matter if he wanted to get a toy or throw something in the trash can, because it didn't matter if it was 2 feet away, he would run to it. Hans was always a tiny kid. He had to fight for different sports that he would play in. He knew that he wasn't going to be 6'5". He wasn't going to be 350 pounds and play football. But I can tell you that he said, I can run, and that's what I'm going to do.
What's your full name?
Hans David Troyer.
How old are you?
No, my real name is Hans David the Destroyer.
Hans the Destroyer Troyer?
Mm-hmm.
If they only knew how true that nickname was.
I just feel so good, good, good. I just feel so good, good, good. I just feel so good.
I'll tell you right now, he's the luckiest man you'll ever meet, okay? I don't know how in the world he made it as long as he did. That dude, not only is he incredibly coordinated, good at what he does, but he's lucky. Don't let him lie to you. He's so lucky. I'm not even saying that for the camera. I want you to know that, okay? He's really lucky.
I just never really got hurt. I was the guy that was like, oh, if I get in a car wreck right now, like, I'd probably walk out of it. Like, if a plane crashed, I'd be the only one to survive. Like, that was my mindset. I was like, nothing can really hurt me. I was like, I had yet to get hurt ever. I did do a silly 50-mile run by myself around my parents' property. I just ate goldfish and drank Mountain Dew and ran for 50 miles in the middle of the heat of summer for fun. So that was kind of my intro to the sport, where I was like, maybe I should take this seriously and try, because I didn't train for that either. I just decided to go for it. I just thought I was invincible.
Do you think he has a strange wire disconnected at any point in his assessment of risk?
I would say yes. He did for his entire life until he reached that point of, I can get hurt, I can be humbled, in which he flipped and it was an entirely different person.
For Black Canyon itself, I had nothing to lose. I was new, and I was like, well, I'm a showman. I'm gonna put on a show at the very least. Went out with the top pack, and then went out with Hayden for miles, and at one point ran past Hayden. In that moment, I didn't think there was anything that my body would let me do that would actually hurt me.
The first 40 miles were amazing to watch. He was doing so well. We're like, yeah, he's got this. And little did we know, he was drinking so little water. He had full gel packets still left in his pockets. We were like, okay, you kind of need to take in some calories. And he's like, no, I don't want to take those anymore. I'm kind of getting sick of them. And then when he came through at the 50-mile point, he went totally pale.
I knew right away that he was in trouble, but I didn't understand or know the degree of what trouble he was in until after.
Shortly after the run-ins, he was really upset because he was like, oh, that was awful, like I felt terrible, I could have done so much better, but we were like, that's still 10th, that's incredible. Once we got up and left and got in the car, that's when he said, yeah, I didn't go to the bathroom the entire time. Like, I didn't pee a single time. And we were like, we're headed back to the race to go to the first aid tent. Hans uses the bathroom. It's like Coke-colored urine, like so dark. And that's when I think Hans realized, like, oh boy, like it's probably Rabdo.
I really discovered what Rabdo was. It's pretty much where you just do so much muscular damage mixed with a lot of dehydration and your kidneys just clog up and stop working. Ended up being way worse than we really could have guessed. A proper CK level is 50 to 150. My CK level was a little over 47,000.
Fluid was flowing into his lungs because there was just nowhere for it to push out because his kidneys weren't functioning any of the fluid that he was taking in. And
I was in the hospital for like 12 days. I gained 40 pounds total, so I went from about 130 pounds to about 170 pounds in just a few days, which is crazy considering I didn't eat but maybe 4 French fries in 2 days. It was kind of a life or death situation, and I'm thankful for the doctors at the hospital. If I never went to the hospital, I probably would have not made it if it wasn't for the help of the hospital. So,
It didn't make it any easier because I was his mom and also have the knowledge of what was going on. It was very scary.
I told him this in the hospital, but I said straight to his face, you actually have a more powerful mind than body. Was it ancient Greece, wherever it was, the initiation of the marathon with him running until he died? That was Hans. Mentally, he could run until he dies before he would quit.
Hans, do you want to tell anybody anything? Like right now?
Not a second, I just want to cry and
Why?
smile because I'm finally out of here. As I rip these things off, finally sleep cord free. Praise God, man. We made it.
I think we've kind of seen the ugly side of the risk now. It's not always a fun bridge jump where you get up out of the water and you do it again and nothing happens, you know, no broken bones. It's all fun until one day it's not. I think when you've seen an extreme result of pushing the risk a little bit too far, it's a reality check. There's this climber, Alex Honnold. He's like a free solo rock climber. I think what people like Alex and Hans want to be known for is being willing to take the risk, even if you can lose a lot from it, because that's what you'll be remembered for. I think if you're literally willing to put your life on the line, let's say you go out that way, you know, you have one final race or one final climb in your life, and all of a sudden, like, that's the end of your legacy. I think that's what people like Hans and Alex want to be known for. The worst case scenario happens, they die heroes, or their legacy still sticks with them. So I feel like the bigger the risk you're willing to take, the more you'll be remembered for it.
I want to be the best so bad. I mean, I think there's probably like a deep desire for like acceptance. And I think everybody can agree with that a little bit in some aspects of their life. Sometimes this actually concerns me, right? Where I think about running. Like if I'm, 50 years old, I want to be like satisfied with my running career. More of what I'm concerned about is what happens when I am the best. Like what happens then?
Is the pursuit of a legacy worth the risk, especially knowing what it could cost you as his spouse?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
It's really deep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard to answer. I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer.
I don't know. Sometimes I joke and say he needs a CT of his head to figure out what's going on.
So in the same time that we watched Hans end up in the hospital after Black Canyon, I was having my own journey as a runner, and I was en route to formulating Hyperlyte and starting my own business.
A couple months after Black Canyon, Emery came to me with a dream that he had been working on for months, even years, where he wanted to help endurance athletes like him and I simplify their nutrition and hydration. So he formulated a product that puts 100 grams of carbs, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, and supporting electrolytes in one product so that we can focus on what we love, which is running, and not have to worry about doing mental math the entire time we're out in the mountains or we're on the trail.
Once we knew that the company was going to happen and we were going to have a product, the first thing I did was text Jeremy and say, we have to talk to Hans.
I figured that Hans, getting the attention that he got at Bandera and then Black Canyon, that he for sure had a nutrition sponsor. So I went on Strava, I shot him a message, hey Hans, do you have a nutrition sponsor? He replies, I don't have any sponsors, upside down smiley face. I couldn't believe it.
We didn't know what Hans had in store next, but we just knew we wanted to be a part of it because we believed in him.
One thing led to another. We got on a call, and Emery and I pitched him on this idea of being our first sponsored athlete. Only one problem. We didn't have a website, we didn't have an Instagram, and we didn't even have real bags yet. We were hand mixing bags in these little Ziploc bags. And so we sent him a bunch of Ziploc bags that were handmade for him to test. He tested them out on his weekend run, and I remember seeing his Strava upload, and he said, something's a brewing. And the stats from the run were just out of this world. I knew that we were onto something.
In talking with Hans, it was clear that he was going to have to take a chance on us. So when we started talking with Hans, it needs to be known that he didn't have a major shoe deal. There were no major sponsors on the table. So for all intents and purposes, we were going to be the first one.
For us, it was a perfect fit because not only did we believe in Hans, the key reason that Black Canyon didn't work out the way that he wanted it to work out was a nutrition and hydration issue. And so we actually were able to solve that for him, which makes me so excited for this year's Black Canyon because yes, he's more fit than he's ever been, but he is dialed when it comes to his nutrition and hydration. And I think that's going to be key in helping him sustain that effort and ultimately get the golden ticket or ideally win the race.
I'm about 1.5 years into the sport now. I still don't know a lot about the sport when it comes to races and different people. Someone would be like, oh, do you know so-and-so that ran this? I'm like, no idea. Oh, what about so-and-so? I don't know. Like, I don't know these people. I don't know these races. I've been so obsessed with being a runner for so long that like, yeah, I'm obsessed about the details because I'm trying to be the best I can possibly be. My wife Grace needed to stay close to Atlanta for her job, and I needed to stay close to Augusta for my master's, so we decided to make this sacrifice together. I bought a cheap camper, decided to live just alone, and it was epic because it was just me and running, and it was awesome. So I mean, I just bought, you know, bread, beans, rice, just cheap foods and cheap living, and just roughed it for the past year and some change.
This is the hack right here. So I go to Walmart, right, and I check the like on sale rack. So it's like the expired foods, but you can get this entire loaf of bread. It's typically about this big for like 70 cents, and it's like 28 grams a serving. There's 8 grams per serving. So I eat one of these loaves of bread like pretty much every day, every 2 days maybe. I always have one of these loaves of bread on hand. Ask all my friends. This is how people picture me right here. They see this and they're like, that looks weird. They see this and they're like, oh, there's Hans.
Best if used by the 24th. It's the 24th, which means we got 24 hours to eat this bad boy.
But if there's one on the sales rack for 70 cents instead of a full $1, you get that one every time. Because, you know, 30 cents. And it forces you to eat it faster because it's going to expire the next day. And I've had plenty of instances where I start biting, like, this doesn't taste right. It's covered in mold. I was playing in Call of Duty with my brother and a friend one day, so I'm like playing in the dark, and it gets really dark in the camper. So I was like, I'm gonna grab a snack quick, guys, and I grabbed my loaf of bread, and I start eating it, and I got like some random crunches, just like, that's whatever. And then finally, the game like lit up, and I looked down, and it's just covered in mold, and I ate like 8 bites in a row, and so then I just gagged and threw up for like an hour because I couldn't, just thinking about it made me sick. So be careful with the 70-cent loaves. Those ones are dangerous, but it's worth it. It's worth it for the 30 cents.
$11 for all this delicious snacks. That'll feed me for 2 days. It's $11.
I've been thinking about Black Canyon for a year. I've been thinking about it since last year. During the race, I was thinking about Black Canyon 2025 because I knew I wanted to tackle it again. Deep down, yeah, I've been thinking about this race for a long time, and I've put a lot of pressure on myself for this race.
Black Canyon, it's one of the most competitive ultra races on US soil. It's one of the few races where if you get top 3, you get what's called a golden ticket to the prestigious Western States 100.
If it doesn't happen here, the runner only has one more chance to get a golden ticket at Canyons to get into Western States. The results of this can be life-changing. This can determine contract extensions. This can determine the lifetime of a professional runner. There have been runners that have made their lifetime as a professional runner by getting a golden ticket at this race.
I'm shooting for the stars. I mean, I think that I can compete with the world's best, and because of that, I want to race the world's best runners on the biggest stages that there is in trail running right now. I want to not only run Western States, but I want to win Western States. I want to not only run UTMB, but I want to win UTMB. I want to be one of those guys where if you're at a race, it's like, that guy's probably going to win. I had a huge health scare, and you know, it could happen again. Like what happened, it could happen again. I mean, but like that risk is worth it to me. That feeling of crossing the finish line and people are cheering, that feeling is, it's unbeatable. I do a lot to have that feeling, and that is worth the risk to me.
Regardless of the outcome of this year's Black Canyon, I think you're gonna see the exact same Hans that we saw during Bandera, a kid running with pure grit and reckless abandon, no regard for the rules or the history of the course. He's going to run as fast as he can and prove everybody wrong.
Can you imagine facing the same thing that almost killed you a year ago? It's unbelievable. I mean, it's extremely admirable and extremely inspiring to see him toe the line. Doctors said he should never run again. Not only that, run at the most competitive, highest level in our sport.
My rookie of the year is Hans Troyer.
This dude was going toe to toe with Hayden Hawks, kind of looking at him going, I don't care. I don't give a fuck who Hayden Hawks is. I'm going to take him down.
Hans is my rookie, and I think we're probably going to be seeing him on the competitive scene for the next 15 to 20 years. Get ready. He's going to be like a guy in the 2020s and the 2030s if we're kind of contextualizing him. We're going to be talking about UROY top 10 for this guy next year.
He was young, scrappy, and hungry in ways that I had never seen before or since. Dude, you have that thing. Bet on him. Bet on Hans.
Really?
Okay. Absolutely.
I saw his Tussie race. His Tussie was amazing.
Yeah, it was good, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I'm excited to watch the kid toe the line again. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he has the grit. I think he shows no fear. I think there's an element to him that's a little bit insane, that shows that he likes to fly pretty close to the sun.
Hans is gonna win, for sure. There's no questions asked.
Hans is so close to being one of the greatest runners of all time. I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder from what happened last year. I wouldn't want to be next to him on the start line.
We are here at what is undoubtedly going to be the most watched sporting event in the entire world this weekend.
That's right, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. One of the best weekends of the year here in Arizona. And after 5 months hiatus, we're back in golden ticket season.
Yeah.
3 golden tickets for the men and for the women today. And the competition is fierce.
So we're at the day before the race festivities, and Hans was supposed to be on the elite athlete panel, one of 4 male athletes, and I got a text from him right before saying that he's dropping out of the panel because he's sick. So yeah, it makes me a little nervous as to whether or not he's going to show up tomorrow.
We just text him back, say get some rest, and he'll be better tomorrow. I do know a guy like this, young body, the kid, he will bounce back quick. All he needs is a good night of rest.
Hopefully. I mean, we flew the whole film crew out. We're filming this documentary. We'll see.
Day has dawned here, Chris, at Deep Canyon Ranch, a beautiful location, looking like a beautiful morning. It's a little crisp and cool for us right now. It's absolutely a wide open race. And add to that the intrigue of some of the runners here already have entry into Western states, but getting a top 3 at Black Canyon is in and of itself, as we talked about in last year's races, in and of itself a fantastic result. Black Canyon on the second weekend in February is where it's at. We're on schedule for a 7 a.m. start from Mayer High School. So we're just about 20 minutes away, just a little bit less than 20 minutes away from the start of the Black Canyon 100K 2025, back on the Golden Ticket Series.
Hey, if somebody's scratching from the race, do we talk to you all about that? Yeah. Okay, so Hans Troyer's out.
Hans Troyer's out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sick.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know. I know. We were so excited, but throwing up, flu.
Oh, that's no good, yeah.
Yeah, so
Let's not start the day that way.
No,
Okay.
he's bummed, but wouldn't be good for him to race today. So,
okay.
yeah.
Appreciate you telling us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Hope you feel better.
Of course. Cheers.
I got a text as I was driving up to the high school this morning saying that Hans Troyer is actually going to be a scratch for the race today because he has fallen very ill and yeah, is just too sick to start the race. So he will not be starting this morning. That was the most significant piece of breaking news. It'll be interesting though, because I don't know how much that's going to get communicated to the people in the field that were going to be racing Hans, expecting to see him at the front, and then all of a sudden one of the guys that has been talked about, like, is going to be at the front, is just not there.
This is something kind of big and personal, but like, I mean, earlier this week, like, I was having like a little bit of like a mental breakdown. Like I feel like all of us do at some point, where I was just like, I mean, running's such a tricky thing for me because I love it so much, and it's like I was so passionate about it and I put so much time into it, and then stuff like this happens where it's like nothing I could control in the moment. But stuff like this happened, so I spent a lot of time praying this week and just talking to God, and just I just prayed over and over again and said, like, God, like, I know that you have a plan for me, whether that's doing really good this weekend or I literally thought, like, we're going back to the hospital. I was like, whatever it is, like, that's your will for me, and I trust you no matter what it is. And so I was also thinking a lot last night where I was like, man, he's kind of got a sense of humor. I was like, because here I am, and like, I prayed and prayed and prayed earlier this week, and then he kind of told me, he's like, all right, like, I'll test that statement you've been saying all week. And so, it puts me where I am right now. Lucky for me, I don't think that I'm defined by this sport. I'm Hans, not necessarily Hans the runner. So if I don't get a golden ticket and I'm not racing at Western States this year, I'm not defined by that, by any means. I'm not defined by Black Canyon performances. If I was, then I wouldn't be very popular.
That's true.
Cut the cameras.
It just adds to this insane journey that I said I was gonna take on a year and a half ago. Who knew it was gonna be such a roller coaster of a journey? But regardless of if I'm a really freaking good runner or if I'm just trying to be a really freaking good runner, like, having people that believe in me, it just all comes full circle, and I'll be okay.
It's the last golden ticket opportunity into Western States 2025. And anybody that's been following trail running knows that Western States 2025 is going to be the race of the century. The biggest names in the sport, Jim Walmsley, Killian, Adam Peterman, Hayden Hawks, David Roach, everybody's in it, and everybody wants to be in it.
As a part of the history of the sport, like, I want to be in that race.
This is the last opportunity for anybody to get a guarantee into the Western States. It all comes down to this one race.
If it's my last chance at Western States for this year, I'm gonna bring the heat. I'm ready to, excuse me. So, of course I'm nervous, but like, it's a good nervous.
Canyon's 100K takes place on many, many sections of the historic, iconic Western States course and is so critical in that it is the very end of the Golden Ticket series. 3 men and 3 women will punch their tickets to Western States at the Canyons 100K this year, and this is their last shot. There have been other races through the calendar year, but here at Canyons, one last time, and the runners here are really gonna have to go for broke. They're gonna have to take chances. They're gonna be fighting some unusual conditions here, and it's gonna be a very, very different and competitive day. It's also gonna have a whole lot of stuff that is unpredictable. Oftentimes we see in these golden ticket races that you can kind of predict right from the beginning how it's gonna go down. This one truly is wide open, and I think is likely to be a historic Canyons 100K.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
My watch clicked 5:40 for the first mile, and then 5:48 for the second mile. So we got out quick. I personally didn't look at my heart rate at all. I was like, I don't want to know it.
I honestly think with how little we saw him, we weren't seeing the risk that he was taking, and usually we see a lot more of him on the course, and so it was almost risky because we just didn't know what was going on. I've never actually gone that long in person or even tracking online, not knowing what's going on. So our service was very spotty. We were not entirely sure where he was. It's like the risk is just like floating out there with him. It's all up to him deep down, and there's not a whole lot you can do because he's not listening to anything we're saying at the aid stations. So.
All right, you're about 3:30 behind 2 guys.
I was running uphill and all of a sudden I got a little bit dizzy, and I was like, well, that's not good, and it's so early in the race. And like, truthfully, I didn't feel great like the entire first 20 miles or so.
4th place when he came in, he left in 3rd. Didn't look awesome. He felt like his energy was a little bit down.
Come into Forest Hill, and I was actually feeling really good at Forest Hill. I had hit my second wind. The guy that was leading before Francisco, I now saw him.
Your dad is on the right-hand side and on the back of the car. Okay, man, at the bottom of the hill. Keep going. Oh, right here.
Nice job, Hans. Shoes good, socks good?
Poopy's 4 minutes ahead of you.
Yeah, he's fast.
Good day. You're looking good. Young and fit.
Young and fit,
baby.
Young and fit!
You got it. The risky was more of just like an unknown feeling. It's just like, I don't really know what's happening. Well, you see him for a minute, if that.
Nice job, Hans. Let's get him, Hans!
You are looking good, Hans.
The guy in front of me wasn't doing too well, so I was like, that's a spot right there that I think I can get.
I'm killing the uphills, oh my gosh. So, this guy's going down.
Here at Driver's Flat, mile 46, Hans came through about 9 minutes back from the leader.
Right here! Nice job, Hans.
Back. There's gonna be a lot of 50K people to pass. Yep, a lot of 50K people to pass. You just do.
Good with shoes and socks? You want something dry?
You're behind Poopy. Oh, how about behind me? Don't know. Just go.
Keep it up, you got it! 4 minutes behind you!
From mile like 30 on, I kept telling myself, like, Hans, there's a race to run. Don't think about getting the golden ticket. It's not about that right now. You just gotta race. You gotta race. You gotta race. And I held that mindset like the entire race.
when I pray about it, like I truly mean like either way. Just use me whatever you want. If you want me to get Rabdo again, but then praise you afterwards and people see that, I'm all for it. If I win the race, I want to praise you for it. And that's what I've been praying the past few weeks, so.
In the 80s, there was a movie called Chariots of Fire. There were two men in the movie, and the one man did not believe in God. And he said, I have 10 seconds to validate my existence when I get out there. And the other man was a godly man, and he said, when I run, he said, I feel his pleasure. Hans is doing it for the second reason.
And the second I saw the finish line, it just hit me like a train what was happening.
All the way on, we celebrate. Let's go! Oh my God.
Giving her a hug at the finish, like every moment of that finish is something I'll never forget, but one of the best hugs I've ever got in my life. Yeah. And Grace stayed almost every single night in the hospital with me.
I could just like feel the like adrenaline like pumping through him in the hug, and yeah, I'm like, my heart's like beating just like thinking about it.
One of the best moments of my life was just feeling those emotions. I couldn't help it. I was just so excited. So I turned around, I looked at the guy and said, can I run and give people high fives? He's like, yeah!
Can I go get a high five?
Yeah, go! Oh, what an extraordinary story. Hans Troyer coming back from illness and hospitalization and sickness. Well, nobody expected this. Nobody saw it coming. This guy probably knew it was coming. He knew what it took, and he knew on the biggest stage, the Canyons 100K, with one last shot at a golden ticket, he was going to have to take his shot. And by gosh, he did. Talk about an incredible comeback. I can't wait to see him at Western States. This is going to be fantastic.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Now,
As Kobe said, it's about the journey, not the destination. I'm gonna look back and be like, that was an incredible past year and a half post Rabdo in the hospital that got me here today.
I've wanted this for a long time. So this past year has just been absolutely incredible, and this day means so much to me. This race means so much to me. Thank you all. It's a dream come true. So,
but this is something that I've dreamed about for my entire life. Like to be, you know, a world-class athlete, and like, I mean, I can't even put it into words.
it's even cooler than I thought. Oh my goodness.
Just picturing him in a hospital bed to the finish line, that's where like most of the emotion was for me. And I've never felt that feeling. I think for anybody, and for the person I love, like it was just amazing.
When Hans Troyer came to Texas 15 months ago and threw down, we believed in him from that moment. And today was so beautiful because it was a culmination of 15 months, having really tough races, being counted out by all the gurus in the sport. Nobody projected him to do what he did today. And through ridiculous fire and belief from people like his family, us, he showed the world that He's something special.
One of the coolest things I've ever watched somebody chase their dream and actually go do it in a really hard setting and be gritty and just push.
And now he's going to Western States in 2 months to throw down with the best in the world. And I cannot wait to see him go toe to toe and show them what that fire, that talent, and the belief from his people are gonna do on that stage.
I would want to go back and tell Hans, a year from now, you're gonna have a ticket. That it's real, and keep fighting, because it's right around the corner, and that you've got the most drive of anyone I've ever met.
Yeah!